They may not be able to see it, but this water that Americans drink is going to have more chemicals like PFAS, forever chemicals in their water. I want to be very specific about the legacy you're going to leave if you're successful. Your legacy will be more lung cancer. It'll be more bladder cancer. It'll be more head and neck cancer. It'll be more breast cancer. It'll be more leukemia and pancreatic cancer.
Adam Schiff didn't hold back. In one of the most blistering takedowns of a Trump nominee we've seen in years, Schiff looked the EPA's acting chief dead in the eye and laid out the deadly legacy of his pro-polluter agenda. And let me tell you, this wasn't just politics. Schiff made it personal, calling out how these cuts will poison families, children, and even the officials' own kids. If you think this hearing was just another DC sparring match, stick around because this one hits hard.
Master Zeldin, you've only been at the EPA for a few months, but in that time, you've done more to dismantle this agency than probably all of your predecessors put together. That may be a source of pride for you, but it is not for the American people. You've unlawfully terminated grants without justification. You've fired and pushed out some of the best scientists who inform EPA's decision-making. You refuse to spend money that Congress has appropriated to the EPA by law. And you've launched a pro-polluter effort to delete dozens of environmental protections. On top of all this, you've launched an effort to overturn California's Clean Air Act waivers that improve the quality of air breathed by 40 million Californians and by millions more in other states who have adopted California's high standards. That effort, for which my colleagues have decided to eliminate the filibuster to achieve, is not exactly what anyone would call cooperative federalism. But it's your budget that's the ultimate proof of your priorities. You propose cutting America's environmental agency by 55%, meaning that in your view, and that of President Trump, more than half of the environmental efforts of the EPA, more than half of the efforts to make sure Americans have clean air and clean water are just a waste. They're just a waste. Meaning that Californians and people all over the country, when they breathe the air, thanks to your good work, it'll mean there's more diesel and more other particulate matter in the air. When they drink a glass of water, they may not be able to see it, but this water that Americans drink is going to have more chemicals like PFAS, forever chemicals in their water. This will be your good work. I want to be very specific about the legacy you're going to leave if you're successful in eliminating half of our efforts to clean our water and our air. Your legacy will be more lung cancer. It'll be more bladder cancer. It'll be more head and neck cancer. It'll be more breast cancer. It'll be more leukemia and pancreatic cancer, more liver cancer, more skin cancer, more kidney cancer, more testicular cancer, more colorectal cancer, more rare cancers of innumerable varieties. That will be your legacy. I don't know that that's a legacy that anyone should want to have. My kids are going to be breathing that air just like yours. My family's going to be drinking the water just like yours. We may not be able to pinpoint just who gets cancer because you've done away with half the budget of those looking out for our clean water and clean air. But it's going to be somebody's kids. It's going to be somebody's family. To put this in more specific terms, there are 22 grants frozen by the EPA focused on improving health and reducing pollution, many of which directly impact children. For example, one project in Santa Ana, California, provided funding to help detect and prevent lead poisoning in children. According to the census, about 10% of the population in Santa Ana are under the age of 9. With a population of about 310,000 people, that means that 31,000 children are at risk of lead poisoning in Santa Ana without this funding. What is it about this grant that you and EPA believe is problematic enough to freeze this funding and put potentially 31,000 children at risk.
Senator, who is the grant applicant?
This is to the city of Santa Ana.
You have the biggest,
And are
you have the
you-
biggest
are you-
state, so we're
and
going
are
to have to
you-
go through every single list of the grant.
Well,
By the way, with that wind up, by the way, I understand that you were an aspiring fiction writer. I see why.
Oh, yeah. Well, I understand your view that you can cut half of the agency and it won't affect people's health or their water, their air. That, to me, is a big fiction, Mr. Zeldin.
You've forgot about the fact of cleaning up
I have
after
to think,
LA
Mr. Zeldin,
wildfires.
I think, Mr.
President when
Zeldin,
I was in San Diego,
if your children were
with the
drinking
Tijuana
water,
River sewage crisis,
if your
apparently we're
children
going
were
out on our
drinking
own for
water
that.
in Santa Ana, Mr. Zeldin, maybe you wouldn't be so cavalier about whether there was lead in their water. Maybe you would give a damn instead of coming in here and suggesting that any grant that takes lead out of the water must be waste, fraud, or abuse because you
gentleman's
need
time has
because
expired.
you
Who said
need
that? The whole
the
thing,
money for a
everything
tax
you
cut
said,
for rich people
your time. It's all
because
make-believe.
you're totally beholden to the oil industry.
The
You could
gentleman's time-
you could give a rat's ass about how much
It's
cancer
because
your
people
agency
you're trying to
causes.
destroy.
The
Impeach,
gentleman's
resist.
time has expired. The chair recognizes her.
From the start, Schiff made it clear, in just a few short months, this EPA official has done more to dismantle the agency than his predecessors combined. Grants? Terminated. Scientists? Fired. Protections? Rolled back. Schiff called it exactly what it is, a pro-polluter crusade. But then he went further. He painted a grim picture of what this means for every American family. More chemicals in the water. More pollution in the air. And with that comes the real cost, cancer. Not some abstract policy debate, but lung cancer, breast cancer, leukemia, pancreatic cancer. Schiff listed them all, one by one, making it painfully clear, if you gut the EPA, you gamble with people's lives. Then came the gut punch. Schiff pointed to Santa Ana, California, where a frozen EPA grant once funded efforts to detect and prevent lead poisoning in children. Without that funding, 31,000 kids under 9 years old are at risk. Schiff demanded to know, why on earth would you cut that? And how did Trump's nominee respond? By smirking that Schiff must be an aspiring fiction writer. Schiff wasn't having it. He shot back, saying the real fiction was pretending you can slash half the EPA and not poison people. Then, turning the knife, Schiff told the official, maybe if your own kids were drinking that water, you wouldn't be so cavalier. That's when Schiff dropped the hammer. He accused Trump's EPA of cutting these programs not because they were wasteful, but to funnel money into tax cuts for the rich and to keep big oil happy. His closing words? Brutal. You could give a rat's ass about how much cancer your agency causes. The room went silent. Schiff had said out loud what millions of Americans have been thinking. This isn't about efficiency, it's about greed. And it's our families who pay the price. So what do you think? Was Schiff right to call out Trump's EPA in such raw, blunt terms, or did he go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think. And if you want more unfiltered breakdowns like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss when we cut through the noise and bring you the facts that matter.